In this series, I'm previewing decks heading into the Destined Rivals format. Very excited to get into this. Team Rocket is my favorite thing from Pokemon. Giovanni's my favorite character, so a lot of stuff to love in this set. In this one, we're going to take a look at Dragapult and how it plays in the upcoming format. I think potentially it just moves into the variation with the Genesect, which you've already seen it played. Dusknoir losing some value as Psyduck joins. Not sure if it's this set or the next, but it's on its way. So we're taking a look at some different ways to play it. This is my preferred way. When I used to play this game, the bats, the bat line, Crobat line was fantastic. It did very similar to what it does now. You get to drop damage counters and spread it around, which works perfectly with Dragapult. Obviously, we've got the 4-4-3 line of Dragapult, fairly standard there, nothing too crazy. Obviously, you got your Dracloaks, you slowly evolve up, take it a lot slower with this deck, spread damage, and pick off stuff as you need to. The new inclusion then is the 3 Rockets Zubat, 3 Rockets Golbat, and 2 Crobat. Now, like I say, when you evolve into Golbat, you can drop 2 damage counters on a Pokemon. Into Crobat, you can drop, again, 2 damage counters, but on 2 Pokemon. So that can slowly build up. Also helps a ton with the math for Dragapult. There's another card in here which helps modify it slightly more into those more important Pokemon. But again, it's going to slowly add up. So 2 Golbats and a Dragapult can now take out, an Iron Hands can now take out most Pokemon around that range, Raging Bolts, stuff like that. It also helps you, more importantly, snipe the bench. So you're going to be able to set stuff up, not needing Hawlucha or the Dusknoir line. I think not giving up prizes to take those bench snipes is going to be a big one. Obviously, it's not as powerful, nowhere near as powerful. Having the option to potentially take out 3 Rolts in a turn. Cannot do that with this list, but that's not what we're aiming for. It's a slightly different idea here. So we've got the 2 Badoo then. We're going to sit behind them at the start, turn off our opponent's items and slowly build our board. Going into Dracloaks, drawing cards, setting up our Zubats until we eventually decide to go into our Dragapult when the time is right. Don't want to rush it. We want to get our attachments down, and Badoo is a perfect candidate to take a few shots and just cause some havoc. We've got Shaman in the list then, so that's going to turn off stuff like Water Ogerpon. More importantly, I think End Zoroark with Darmanitan and any kind of bench sniping shenanigans. We've got the one of Monkey Dory and one of Fezandipity. So obviously in this list, we've got Crobat. It's attack does 120 and it jumps back into your hand, which doesn't sound great, but it does one-shot a Mew EX with weakness. A few different Pokemon where we can really take a big knockout, ideally, or we can just take out a single prizer, but then it jumps into our hand. So if we leave our board Dracloaks and Badoos, it leaves our opponent only taking a single prize that turn, meaning we can then come in with Dragapult the following turn and just slowly win the prize trade that way. I think it's actually quite a good attack. Obviously, we get it back to reuse the following turn as well. And playing that single prize board with things like Monkey Dory just throwing damage around as well is pretty big. So we do have a few ways to attack with Crobat, but also set up that Monkey Dory. We'll get into those in a minute though. We've got the 4 of Iono, that's the main support, that's what we want to be playing, especially in that late game. As I say, we fall behind, slowly build our board up, hit them with Iono, and then start to swing. We've got the 2 research to use early, or if we just need to dig and find something. We do run some recovery, just to sort of, if we have to throw Pokemon away, we want ways to get them back. And then we run a few one-ofs. So I'm going to go through these. The most obvious one is our boss's orders. Potentially could have a second one of those, but I think if not, 1 is fine. The other card I was talking about for modification is Black Belt's Training. Now this does 40 extra damage to an EX that you're attacking. So if we hit for 200, we hit for 240. That's getting a lot of Pokemon we need. With the ping from the Golbat, we're going to 260, which gets things like Goldengo. 2 pings, we're going to things like Mewtwo and Zoroark and other things like that. So Black Belt's Training is actually massive in this deck. Fixes a ton of math. Obviously, we've got the Monkey Dory to do that as well. So there's just some really big numbers we can reach, which we shouldn't be able to really, hitting for only 200 damage. But Black Belts gets us on our way to do that. We've got the one of Jacques, so it's finding stuff like the Dracloaks, the Golbats, the Crobats, Dragapults. Anything we need, just more consistency to find our Pokemon under Badoo. I think you probably want to try and find a spot in this list for a Brock Scouting. Potentially an Iono could go. I'm not running it at the minute. We're going to see how we get on, but it's definitely a worry. The other card we've got is Crispin. So obviously it sets up a Dragapult in a turn. It can attach to a Dragapult and get energy onto a Munkidori if we need to. Also, we can attach a Dark to Crobat, and then if we can find another Dark, if we have it in hand or draw into it, or Vessel, we can actually attack with Crobat in a turn as well, which is why it's such a good card in this list. Trying to work with the Crobat as well. We do run 2 Dark Energy for the Munkidori and Crobat shenanigans. So I'm not really seeing Crispin in any list, but I think it's worth it in this list when we're trying, or we're not trying to attack with Crobat, but having that option, like I say, playing a single prize board, potentially taking 2 and then leaving them, knocking out a Badoo or something, we don't hate at all. And then finally, we've got Colress's Tenacity. The A-spec in this list is the Neo Upper Energy. Again, potentially could attack with Crobat, but it just gets Dragapult attacking in a single turn. I'm back and forth on it. I think if we go to Unfair Stamp, we can drop the Iono, then we can fit the Brock in there. Might be a stronger list, but this is what we're trying first. We want to get a little more creative with it, and then we can move back to the more standard list if it doesn't work out. But I think this should be pretty good. We're running a few other cards in here that would work really nice with Unfair Stamp though. So I will talk about that when we come to it. We've got the 4 of Buddy Buddy, the 3 Ultra, and the 1 Nest. Again, just to find out our Pokemon, tons of search options, as many as we can fit. We've got the 2 counter catchers, so in total we've got the 3 gust options. Obviously we're normally behind, so the counter catchers are fine. We've got 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Super Rod. Like I said, we do play research, so we want ways to recover things. Also, things get knocked out, so we want ways to bring them back and reuse them. We've got the 1 of Vessel. Again, we run quite a few energy in this list, but we do want specific energy at specific times. So I think 1 is fine. We've got the 1 of Rescue Board then. No way to find it. We have got a ton of draw with Dracloaks and Fairs and Research and other things. I think it's such a powerful card, we kind of need it in here. Just having the retreat option in the deck that needs its attachments quite regularly. We obviously need our Dragapults going. We have got Crispin, we've got Neo, so maybe it's not as big of a worry and potentially could be a card that's changed. But for now, I'd like it in there. It's just, yeah, some kind of retreat where we don't have to use energy. And then we've got 2 stadiums. We've got the Artisan to help set up early. Obviously finds things like the Shaman, which you can't grab off Buddy Buddy Poffin. And then all of our other Pokemon, the Munkidoris, Dreepies, Zubats. Obviously we've got Colress as well, so we can find our 1 of Stadiums, which is a really nice combination. And we've got the 1 of Team Rocket's Watchtower. Now this turns off the abilities of all colorless Pokemon, so things like Pidgeot, things like Noctowl. We can shut down entire strategies, entire decks with a single stadium. With Colress, we can find it when we need to, so if we want to do it early to shut off the option of them Noctowling and they can't find the area 0 turn 1, with no Noctowl in play, obviously no option to play the Noctowl, that can just shut off a deck and we can just get ahead. Ideally, we play it late and we hit them with Iono as well and just shut off their Owls or shut off their Pidgeot, any way to draw cards or find cards. It's also really good into the Tank Terrapagos deck. Turns off the Bouffalants on the bench so we can swing through them with Dragapults and Pings. Obviously, again, the Black Belt coming in clutch in that matchup, turn off their Bouffalants and then swing with a Black Belt. Very nice combination. So there's a few really nice things that that stadium does in this deck. Like I've already mentioned, our A-spec is the Neo Upper Energy, but potentially could become the Unfair Stamp because we've got the Team Rocket's Watchtower. If we can Colress, find Team Rockets, find an energy, and then Unfair Stamp in the same turn, that's terrifying. Go down to 2 cards. Obviously, you can't use your abilities. It could just shut some decks out of the game entirely. Very similar to things we've seen before, like not as good in a lot of ways, but slightly better in very few ways. And that's our energy. We're running the 2 of Dark. Like I say, we can use the Crobat to attack. We need them for the Munkidori, and then a 3/3. Potentially could cut down to a 2/2 since we do have the Neo Upper, or at least like a 3/2. So that's definitely some space if you're looking for someone else to add. I don't know what else I'd be looking for. Maybe some more supporters, thicker lines of supporters, maybe a second boss, or it could be we put the Brock in there, maybe another stadium. Obviously we've got the Colress to find them. So we can play the 1-ofs and we can have a few different tactics going into different decks. This is my list. This is what I'm going to be testing out. Let me know any changes you'd make, what you're playing currently with Dragapult or Crobat. Let me know any lists you want to see. More than happy to make some more. Very excited to get into some more testing. If you do want to see those videos, you want to see the matches, make sure you are subscribed. Thank you so much if you've made it to this point in the video, and I will catch you in the next one.